Welcome to the Monday 26th of May 2025 Rubber Duck. I've got a few things to talk about and let's go through it. First, weekly close green and clearly over range top. Some would call this an SFP, but I don't really believe in those on these kind of time scales. Daily, even more so. We had a breakout from 106, 100, and the retrace didn't even get there, so it's kind of holding above the range, which probably sets up for another leg. On a lower time scale, it's a bit harder to find setups because this thing is just swinging all over the place based on news, with Trump announcing tariffs on a Friday and then rescinding them on a Sunday about 30 minutes before open. So you just get these big moves and you're just getting moved around by news unless you're just gambling on it. Fundamentally, I don't see how you can take big positions with uncertain news like that. Just gambling of the biggest sort. And some people gambled right. From a TA point of view, it's clearly suggesting there's still room for longs. And there is no daily div anymore. I wouldn't call that weekly div either. So it's looking good. Like it still has room and a lot of interest. If we just quickly hop over to F just looks F is clearly just trapped in this minor range, where it has to break above 2800 to be really interesting. And it's got this support down at 2300, 2400, which makes some sense. I still don't think doing business in the middle here makes any sense, particularly as F is just substantially weaker than Bitcoin. I think you just have to play I timescale and try and look for any kind of wicks down into somewhere around here. At least something like that could work. Now let's look at the SPX. You can see this Trump inspired move already. Friday down, Sunday up. Really terrible for trading. Putting that aside, where would I be interested in getting long? I am interested in getting long. It's just very hard. You're just basically going to have to, what it looks like, gamble it up, because going into US Open, it's been pumping like crazy every day, and now we have Monday. So you almost want to be positioned just to try and take some of that short-term edge. But where do you even do it? Obviously, the weekly open, daily open would be nice, but it's hard to see you getting there. If you look at the Binance spot chart, there is a previous quarterly high which is performing some sort of support, which could be used. I mean, this is clearly just broken whatever's been stuffed there. So a really aggressive trade, probably worthwhile, and just aim for nirvana. Looking more structurally, even whatever happened on Friday with Trump just trying to crash the economy, still had 200 million of inflows. Someone's still hyperloading BlackRock, and even F got 58 million. And given the disparate market caps here, I mean 131 total net assets versus 9 billion, that is something to pay attention to. It's the second straight day of increased inflows, but it took Bitcoin some time of those inflows to overcome the selling. funding is still, relatively balanced. I usually use Binance and Bybit as my safety nets for this, and it's about 90%. Sorry, it's about 0.09 and 0.01, so pretty close to neutral, actually slightly short. Let's look at open funding. I mean, the real risk factor is this, in that you're seeing a lot of positions come through. And open interest just on a coins basis get pretty high. I mean, that doesn't mean it's going to collapse, but it's less room for someone to push it through. I mean, we can see that deloaded. But it took about a week or two in the 92k region to deload all of this before it moved up, and that's kind of the main risk factor, I think, from there. But if you're expecting a TradFi based push, then it doesn't really matter too much. Yeah, this is the post where he just called off the tariffs he put in place not 2 days before. Here, literally 2 days. Doesn't make any sense. I bet his friends made a lot of money. Trading Light is still out of commission, so there's nothing there. And I think that's about it. It's a lot of news trading and trend trading, and like order flow trading more than anything, and just seeing where the money's flowing, get in, get out quickly, because it's been vicious, and I don't think it's very, very nice. It's almost worth just taking a break.